You know that feeling? When you're in a relationship that feels incredibly passionate, just amazing, but at the same time, something feels a little bit off? It's that mix of intense highs and this quiet, draining confusion. That's often the classic calling card of manipulation hiding in plain sight, disguised as love. So let's break it down and really figure out how to tell the difference.
And if that question really hits home for you, trust me, you are not alone. That feeling, it's so specific, isn't it? Being cherished one minute and then feeling totally caged the next. It's a huge red flag. So the real question is, how do you know? How can you tell the difference between what's real love and what's just a really, really convincing performance? Well, let's find out.
All right, so our first major area to look at is the difference between control and freedom. And this is so important because the most effective kind of control, well, it almost never looks like control. It looks a lot like someone just caring about you intensely.
And this really gets to the heart of it, right? On one side, your life feels like it's being managed. It's a project for them. They're always questioning your decisions, maybe wanting to check your phone. But on the other side, in a healthy relationship, your life is yours. It's built on a foundation of trust, not this constant feeling of being watched.
And when you look at these behaviors, you start to see a pattern, right? They all work together to slowly make your world smaller. It almost always starts innocently, with a text like, "Hey, just checking in," but pretty soon you find yourself having to justify every single moment you spend apart. Your hobbies, they kind of fall by the wayside. And wanting a simple night to yourself? Suddenly, that feels like you're betraying them. See, that's not care, that's ownership.
And there it is, the knockout punch. This is the phrase that makes everything so unbelievably confusing. It's the classic move, designed to reframe their control as deep affection. It's meant to make you doubt your own gut feelings and feel guilty for just wanting normal, healthy boundaries.
But on the flip side, what does healthy love look like? It's the total opposite. It creates freedom. A partner who truly supports you doesn't feel the need to look over your shoulder. In fact, they encourage your friendships. They get excited about your personal goals. And fundamentally, they trust you. Your growth, your success, that's a victory for them, not some kind of threat.
Okay, so that idea of freedom leads us straight into our next big point, isolation versus support. And you have to understand, this is a really critical tactic in manipulation. Why? Because a person with a strong support system, good friends, close family, is so much harder to control. So the goal becomes making them the absolute center of your universe, and that often means slowly, methodically, pushing everyone else out.
Yeah, the whole point of isolation is to make them your one and only source for everything. For validation, for comfort, for advice. Because think about it, when they're the only person you have left, their opinion basically becomes your reality. But real, genuine support, it does the exact opposite. It wants you to have a huge network. It knows that having more love and support in your life, not less, just makes your whole foundation that much stronger.
And look, this stuff almost never happens overnight. It's not that dramatic. It's more like a slow, constant chipping away at your connections. They might make a little critical comment about your best friend, or maybe they always seem to pick a fight right before you're about to go out with family. Or, and this is a big one, they plant that little seed in your head that they're the only one who truly gets you. After a while, it just feels easier to stay home with them than to deal with all the drama. And that's exactly the point. You know, a partner who is genuinely supportive wants to join your world, not take it over and become your entire world. That's the key difference. They're actually excited to meet your friends. They ask about your family. They would never, ever make you feel like you have to choose. They celebrate every part of who you are, and that includes all the people who helped make you who you are today.
All right, let's move on to our final point. And honestly, this one can be the most painful to recognize. It's the difference between conditional love and consistent love. See, in a manipulative relationship, affection isn't something that's just there. It's a tool. It's used as a reward when you're good and a punishment when you're bad.
And there's a term for this. It's called transactional affection. It's so important to understand this. It basically turns love into a kind of currency. You do what they want, and you get paid in praise and kindness. But the second you step out of line, poof, that warmth is just gone. And it leaves you feeling cold, confused, and desperate to do whatever it takes to get it back.
And this cycle, wow, is it damaging. It starts with them putting you on this incredible pedestal. And who doesn't love that? It feels amazing. But then you make a mistake. And a mistake could be anything. Disagreeing with them, wanting a night out with your friends. and boom, all of a sudden you're getting the silent treatment or just this cold, passive-aggressive vibe. The only way to make it stop is to give in, to apologize, even if you did nothing wrong, just to get back in their good graces. You literally learn to walk on eggshells just to keep the peace and avoid that awful withdrawal.
I really want you to let this next thought sink in for a second. Real love is supposed to be your safe harbor in a storm. It's not supposed to be the storm. It should be your place of calm, not the source of all the chaos.
So, we've talked about all these external signs to look for, but what's the ultimate test? What's the final truth teller? It all comes down to learning to trust your internal compass, your gut, your intuition. Yeah, for just a minute, I want you to forget about the big, grand gestures. Forget the passionate apologies. Instead, pay attention to the small, quiet moments in between. How do you really feel on a day-to-day basis? How does your stomach feel when you hear their key in the door? Your body, it often knows the truth long before your mind is willing to admit it. So let's do a little reality check, just for you. Take a deep breath and honestly ask yourself these questions. And remember, there are no right or wrong answers here. There is only your truth. Do you generally feel anxious, or do you feel at peace? Does this relationship make you feel bigger or smaller? Can you truly be your authentic self, flaws and all, without being afraid of punishment? Is this love a source of stress in your life or a source of safety?
Because in the end, it all boils down to this one simple, powerful question. Real love, true love, it should lift you up. It should make you feel inspired and supported and more like yourself, not less. So the only question you really need to answer is, does yours?